the way that I see it is that if you think you were saying, Max, about so here Web 2.0, and so back then you said, hey, I have two options. Either I build my own infrastructure, my own data center, and then I do everything on myself. So completely from scratch, and that's cumbersome, and that's also very low margin, and likely I don't need it because the value is really on the application and not in the infrastructure. This was an example how OpenAI has been improving their models, where if you think how it was just even a couple months ago, they had very limited image generation capabilities, especially compared with Grok or others, even Mistral, etc. Their image capabilities were much inferior, and now they have pretty much leveled up. And also going back to the previous segment on so here hardware, so we must also remember that all of these providers, they are competing against Meta Llama models, which are open weight or open source. And also Meta itself is now becoming an hyperscaler, is now starting to offer, provide inference service on the cloud. And it is also possible to generate images with these Meta models. So all of a sudden, one of the reasons why we would need the use, for example, Amazon or other hyperscalers, which is running these open source models, then you might not really need to, because you can go directly to the source, which is Meta, and then use it from there. And Meta as well has, with their Llama models, their own model generation capabilities. So here is this pretty much like rat race where everyone is just trying to run on the same wheel, trying to be a bit ahead. I say exactly, I think a lot on, so what will be the future for professions now that you're discussing here, the creative profiles, getting any type of like creative professions, designers, etc. It's similar for like developers, and how AI is impacting all these different jobs. And my impression is that so far AI is pretty much like mass, is not exactly like uniqueness, not like quality. You can notice when something is AI generated, and as a result, you assign maybe like a lower value to it because you said, oh, it was actually generated with a prompt, that there is no actual value. So from that, similar, for example, with text, it is so rather easy after a while to start noticing, hey, this text looks like it was not really written by a human, but actually is using some AI model. And as a result, maybe it's not even worth my time because it takes me longer to read it than the time that it was taken to create it. And I see there'll be definitely a market for actual human work where they'll be valued for actual writers who are using their own creativity, their own mind to create stories.
So what is taste? How do you even develop taste? It's a question that I have in my head. And I think it's an aggregation of all the different experiences that you have had, all the different interpretation that you do on certain stimuli. And I think, you know, over time that develops differently, and therefore some will resonate with people, some won't. It's a little bit like how you have a lot of different artists that create different music. They're probably equally good, but some will, you know, be more popular than the others, and because it resonates in a certain way. And that taste is something, I guess, if we were to break it down, what would that be? I don't know. Maybe that will be the difference, you know, by creating something unique or something special, if you will.
I was just checking out here these NFTs, these apes, and actually they were not AI generated. It was like step before. So they had artists generating the different traits and characteristics, and then they used just some simple scripts and algorithms that randomly choose the different parts and pieces that belong to an ape, or so like this. They had also like zombies and all other type of like different collections. But yeah, so the idea was, okay, you have something unique because it was generated by an algorithm.
So there was a study done by University of Buffalo specifically on your evidence-based medicine, and there's this exam that your doctors have to take. And what they did was basically run an AI on it, and then get the doctors to sit them on just take like past exams on those doctors, and they just compare the results. Turns out obviously AI is extremely good at doing some of this, memorizing, as well as I would say optimization task, really trying to answer those questions. I think one thing that comes into my head are twofold. Number one, how far can we actually take this tool? If someone is better than an exam, in general, you would think that they probably will be somehow better in real life when they perform the task, because they will remember some of those facts, right? And then therefore, can you actually develop a doctor all the way down? There was an article that I think came out last night or something like that, where the UK government is saying that doctors can use AI for whatever they do. There are like a few tasks that they list out. So I think we're definitely trending that space, but the question is, how far can you take it? And then the second thing is just thinking from learning perspective. Like our school systems, or majority of the world's school systems, are still based on standardized tests.
Max, you're throwing so many philosophical questions into our room today. Honestly speaking, I actually believe that technology is already so good or as good as a human when it comes to medical experience and knowledge. There's no reason why a machine couldn't do it better, even better, because humans forget, machines don't, but maybe sometimes they hallucinate. I think for adoption, it's not about technology, it's more about the habit of people, right? And I think the best analogy to that one is this whole space around autonomous driving, right? That trend has been around for quite a bit of time. And I think, yes, now you in California, like LA and SF, you can actually get an autonomous car to drive you around the city, but it's a matter of adoption and trust at the end of the day, right? And I think the question is really, you to blame when something happens. Actually, there was a case I remember in China where there were 3 ladies driving to their exam, and they had a selfie car, and it was like on autopilot, so basically driving without them steering the car, and then it became they got into an accident and they all died. And obviously one of those cases or one of those stories make you think about, okay, how do you actually evolve the legal system to govern such new technologies? And I think that's really what it comes down to. So one is trust, habit, and people's adoption of technology. And then the second one is obviously the legal framework around that. And autonomous driving is one thing. I think medical application is, I would even think, more complicated and more complex, just to change the entire system on that. So that's basically my take. So I think technology-wise, we're probably there, or give it another 6 months and technology would be there. But I think in terms of adoption, we still have to go a long way to your vision of having a complete robotic or / software-based doctor.